Okay, real quick, everybody. This was my last video. Was supposed to be my last video. I'm gonna make an outro for everybody to let everybody know I'm gone until 2020 is here. Once 2020 is here, I'll come back and see what we're working with. YouTube is under attack right now, so just letting everybody know what time it is. And we're gonna see what happens. So I don't want to make hella content if they're just gonna tear my channel down. You see what I'm saying? So let's get down to what this video is about right here. This video right here is the soul versus the spirit. What is it? What is the difference between the spirit and the soul? I think this is very important for a lot of people to know because it's going to bring us to so much other understanding. Once everybody understands that there is a difference between the spirit and the soul. Okay? I done heard people say that the spirit and the soul is the same exact thing. And Christianity teaches that the soul is pretty much the physical world. That's terrible. You see what I'm saying? So real quick, everybody, what is the difference between the spirit and the soul? Okay? I just want to clear this up for everybody out there because I hear this come up again and again and again and again. And this is how I make my videos. I listen to what I don't hear and then I try to put that out here, okay? So what I don't hear is anybody truly explaining the difference between the spirit and the soul. Even a couple of people that I follow even said the spirit and the soul is the same thing. Now, I believe that they're highly closely related to the point to where they're almost the same thing. But if we want to see what the soul do that's different than what the spirit do, that's why we got to separate them to see them. But yeah, they really are. They are one thing, technically. You know what I'm saying? While they're together like that. You see what I'm saying? But, so what is a spirit? A spirit is space, air. Okay? Now that spirit and that air gives way to fire, which is fire is the soul. Okay? So, spirit is an air element that also means spiral with the ability to torque, turn, twist, flow through and out, move around other elements, other particles. And in the process of that air doing that, see, we talk about air and space and magnetism. We're literally talking about one thing that's different things that are interconnected within each other to make this one thing. So, space or spirit is an air element. Okay? Now, what does that space create from turning, from torquing? As we know, spirit also represents spiral, right? So what does that space create from turning and torquing like that? Okay? It creates fire, soul fire, solar. You see what I'm saying? Solar energy. Okay? And that creates the spark. You see? So soul is a fire. And spirit is the space that torques, that turns, that creates the torch, because the word torque is also torch. Okay? So from the turning ability to be able to turn, the spirit, the ability to spiral, the space, the universe, all stirring up and spiraling, right? You see? So the spirit's ability to do that is causing the torque to have a torch, a light. Okay? Now that light is what we call a soul. So that would make literally stars souls. Okay? Their magnetism, space, that is spiral to make other things. You see what I'm saying? And you got to keep in mind that star means stir. In other words, spirit spiraling. The spirit will be the space, will be the black space. Okay? And the soul will be the stars, the fire that space produce. And that fire that space produce, that fire creates other things like what we're sitting in right now, our flesh, all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So the fire, the soul, cooks the creation for us, all right? This is how we got our bodies right here. It cooks the creation. Like I showed you the zygote right here, right? Okay, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the soul fire that the spirit made cook the creation, okay? Just like you cook food, well, creation needs to be cooked too. It's served up to be what it is also, okay? So the universe is cooking up creation. That's why the universe is stirring up the stars. That's why the universe is stirring up itself. And that's why everything is turning. Because everything is cooking, okay? Everything converts from one thing to another thing. It converts. So spirit and soul is spirit conversion. It's spirit converted into fire. So it's the spirit inside of the fire. You see what I'm saying? And that fire can convert itself moreover into a body or anything else that want to be converted into. So understanding the spirit and the soul is more like understanding which one come from which one and goes on to create other things. You see what I'm saying? So the spirit creates the fire, which is the first seed of creation, and that fire creates everything else in all different kind of ways. Because the fire, when you are in chemistry, cold and heat are the main tools to chemistry, okay? Heat move elements and chemicals around, okay? And mix them up and just does all kind of stuff, right? And cold lock things up into their framework. You see what I'm saying? So understanding the spirit and the soul or anything in the universe is really understanding conversion and knowing how something came about from another thing, from another thing, from another thing. You see what I'm saying? So everyone, you hear the word soul, it sounds like that's the first thing that comes, right? But no, it's spirit that comes before soul. You see, the spirit makes the fire from torquing, from winding, spitting something up, causing energy to happen. You see what I'm saying? So spirit means spiral. That's just one thing that means many other things too that's in connection with each other. But one of the big things that it means in connection to what we're talking about right now, spirit means spiral. So the space have the ability to spiral and create energy, conjure up energy. You see what I'm saying? That can create other things. So understand that everything is really just in conversion. So spirit got into the light, which it converted to the light. You know, it made himself a light body. You see what I'm saying? So right now, I got a light body inside of me, and I also made myself a matter body, a physical matter body, which is dense light. You see what I'm saying? So just understand the difference between the spirit and the soul is the difference between air and fire, which fire needs air in order to do its thing. Fire needs air in order to do its thing, okay? If you got a flame, right? You notice you got a flame, right? You put the flame out by taking away the oxygen, the spirit, the air. Air gives way to fire. Gas gives way to fire. Spirit is gas. Gas is space, and space is gas, which gas is what the space is. And gas hold the highest electrical charges. And those electrical charges are holding magnetism in it that cause a twist or a turn or a spin, a spiral, spirit. And the fire is what the space/spiral produce, as you see stars and everything else, right? Okay, so spirit creates soul. Spirit creates fire, okay? Soul is actually the word solar, too. You know, solar having to do with the sun and everything that's connected to the sun in order for it to be powered up, right? So soul has to do with fire, okay? So sometimes you might hear people out there say, well, white people ain't got souls. Well, what they're really saying is that they don't have melanin, okay? Because melanin is what connects you to the fire in the sky. You see what I'm saying? The sun fire. So if you don't have no melanin, you are highly disconnected. If you got a little bit of melanin, you are highly disconnected from the sun fire in so many ways, okay? So they would say white people got spirits, but don't have no soul. You see what I'm saying? Do I agree with that? It's a strong part. You know what? I'm gonna have to. You know why? Because it's a chemical thing. It's a scientific thing. Okay? And it's what soul actually means. See, people think that means that they don't have no ghosts. You see what I'm saying? No, they have a ghost because that's what a spirit is. It's space. It's ghosts. You see what I'm saying? But do they have a soul? Do they got soul fire? I'm just saying this right here. If you only have a little bit of melanin, that means you only have a little bit of fire in you. You got more space and gas and air. You see what I'm saying? You don't have that fire. If you did, that sun would not be burning you up. Because what it comes down to, is their chemical factory producing the same thing our chemical factory is producing by taking in the same elements? And the answer to that is no, it's not. We are producing high levels of melanin, which is universal, right? So we're not producing the same results by being in this environment or by being in the sun. We're not producing the same chemical results. This is not racist. This is science. You see what I'm saying? And by us not producing the same chemical results, meaning everything is pretty much almost the same, but you're not producing the fire like I'm producing it. AKA, you are not producing the melanin like I'm producing it in order to connect you with the star sun that makes you universally connected to the whole universe, technically. Now you are spirit, meaning you're just part of the whole space. Everything in space is part of the space, right? But are you that space producing fire? Are you that kind of space that's producing that God element, that soul fire, that melanin? Are you producing it? You see? So when it comes to looking at this situation, especially when it come looking at genetics, you're just really looking at what something is lacking. And the reason why is because what you're looking at there is something that's unnatural, because it should have all the proper elements that it should have in order to produce the same results that I'm producing, you see? But for some reason, somehow, they had the soul took out of them, the melanin extracted from them somehow, okay? Which is the soul fire that makes up the stars, you know? And, you know, this is why when people say that someone don't have a soul, they also say that these people are cold. You know what I mean? They're saying that they're cold because they're saying, without knowing it, they're saying that soul is a fire. You know what I mean? Whenever you think of soul or solar, you think of warmth, heat, fire. You see? Something that's bringing everything together, a bonfire. You know, people make a fire in the woods and they all get around the fire to stay warm, okay? That's bonding them together in a love. That's a bonfire. That's soulful. When everyone come together in love, that is a soulful thing, and it creates a warmth, a heat. And that's why soul also means sow, to sow something together, you see? Because that bonfire is going to bring all them together and sow all them together too. Just like the warmth in your body, the heat in your body, keep your body all souled up together as one, in one warmth, in one body. So that will mean soul also means to bring together, to bring something together, right? So you see how all these meanings that connect to each other come out? You see? So we got to understand that soul, like any other words, are codes that represent so much more, that represents a whole process and a whole science. So everybody know too, when I'm talking about these fires and stuff like that, understand there's variations of fire. Like electricity is a fire. Atom is a fire. You see what I'm saying? But you got different kind of fires. You see what I'm saying? So understand there's spiritual fire and there's external fire. There's internal fire and external fire. But all those variations of fire are connected to each other. Basically, meaning they are all basically the same fire. Okay? But what makes them different fire is as they come from the inner to being external more and more and more, they become another kind of fire. You see what I'm saying? But basically still same fire. Okay? So the space produce oxygen in order to fire up the soul. And that's what continuously give you fire to your soul. Where if you cut off the air, you put out your fire. You see what I'm saying? And then your space just elude back into the atmosphere. But if you don't let them take your soul, you get to go wherever you want to. You get to travel. Why? Because that's your Merkabah. That's your fire. That's what you're traveling in. You see what I'm saying? So if you let someone take your life force, take your fire, then you let them take your soul. Therefore, you don't have no energy to fly off. You don't have no light no more. You see what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm a cat. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got no light no more. You get what I'm saying? Oh, just understand that the spirit is the space that makes the soul fire, which is the space in the stars, is a perfect example of your space in your star, your sun heart. You see what I'm saying? You got your space and you got your sun heart. Your space being the Akashic records, that holds the information to be able to create everything that you're seeing, okay? And the soul fire being the energy, the power that's used to further create.
They live on a bit in us, and I'm glad there's at least 1.8% of them in me.
I wasn't aware that I'd have any Neanderthal in me, although probably some of my friends and family would disagree.
I came out as quite Neanderthal. I was quite surprised. Dad said that my mum is a bit short and stocky, so he imagines that the Neanderthal side of the family is definitely hers.
The modern humans that remained in Africa don't show traces of Neanderthals in their DNA. Their ancestors never interbred with Neanderthals, so there's no Neanderthal DNA there, except where there have been later back migrations into Africa. Their ancestors never interbred with Neanderthals, so there's no Neanderthal DNA there, except where there have been later back migrations into Africa.
As it turned out, I had no Neanderthal ancestry at all. Now, actually, with a retrospectroscope, I think maybe it would have been nice to have a bit.
I wasn't aware that I'd have any Neanderthal in me, although probably some of my friends and family would disagree.
I came out as quite Neanderthal. I was quite surprised. Dad said that my mum is a bit short and stocky, so he imagines that the Neanderthal side of the family is definitely hers.
The modern humans that remained in Africa don't show traces of Neanderthals in their DNA. Their ancestors never interbred with Neanderthals, so there's no Neanderthal DNA there.
Once upon a time, there was a group of people called the Ice People and the Sun People. Let me tell you about the Sun People. The Sun People lived under the sun, and the sun gave them everything that they wanted. The sun gave them food. The sun gave them fresh drinking water. The sun gave them animals to make clothes. They never had to steal. They never had to cheat. They never had to manipulate. Why? Because the sun gave them everything. They never had to lock their doors because they never stole from one another, because they was the Sun People. And the sun always provides with abundance. They lived in harmony with nature because they lived in harmony with the sun. Then there was another group of people called the ice people. They lived under the ice. It was cold. They didn't have no clean drinking water. They didn't have no fruit, no vegetables because it was too cold for anything to grow. When they got hungry, they would just eat whatever crawled on the ground. Mice, roaches, ants. If they got too hungry, they would kill each other and eat each other. And blood became wine. These was the ice people. They was manipulative. They was deceitful. They used trickery. You know why? Because they never had enough. So in order to keep what they had to allow the other people to protect what was theirs. And then one day, these ice people who hated nature. Why do the ice people hate nature? Because nature never blessed them. So they don't believe in just letting things happen the way nature wants it to, because nature was never kind to us. And one day the ice people came to the land of the sun people. And they walked in. They said, look at this shit. They got fruit falling from trees, water, animals, gold, diamonds, platinum. And we was up in the mountains starving, cold. And when the sun people saw the ice people, they said, look at these dirty people. We got to help them. So they said, come on over here, baby. You got to learn how to cut your hair. Shave your back. We're going to shave your back. They said, come here over here, ice woman. You don't eat the food, so when you kill it, you got to cook that. Start to put some paprika, some seasoning, some jerk sauce. You don't eat it like that. They had to tell them, this is soap. You use this to wash your body. Soap. But every time the sun people helped the ice people became more and more hatred towards the sun people. How dare these people treat us with such contempt? How they look down upon us like this? And so one day the ice people decided that they was going to steal everything the sun people had. And they started stealing and taking and manipulating. But the sun people didn't understand it because they were so nice. They didn't understand it. The sun people said God created man for woman. Ice people said no, God created man for man and woman for woman. Some people said we get a summer, we get a winter, we get a fall, we get a spring. Iceman said, no, we're going to make the summer turn into spring and we're going to make the fall into winter. Ice people don't believe in living with nature because they hate nature because nature never blessed them. Some people see animals walking around. We don't mess with the animals. We just let the animals walk. You see a lion. How you doing, lion? I'm going to go this way. We see a snake. How you doing, snake? I'm going to go that way. That's the ice people. Ice people see the lion and they want to dominate the lion. They say, I'm going to open up his mouth and go inside and see what's in there. Ice people see the snake. They don't know how to leave the snake the hell alone. I want to see if he bites or not. They start kissing the snake in the mouth. So the snake bite, they hold their face up. Because ice people don't know how to live in harmony with nature. There's nothing wrong with you black folks. It's just that you sun people. You don't make bombs to kill people. You don't come up with diseases to get rid of population. That's not sun people nature. That's ice people. You have a sun temperament. They have an ice temperament. You better be careful about trying to live with your temperament amongst the people who don't have it. And one day, if you're not careful, the ice people are going to take everything the sun people got and send your ass to go live under the ice.
Snow. Snow, 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 snow. It won't be long before we'll all be there with snow.
Snow, snow. I want to wash my hands, my face, and hair with snow.
Snow, I long to clear a path and lift a spade of snow.
Snow. To see a great big man entirely made of snow.
Snow, where it's snowing all winter through. That's where I want to be.
Snowball throwing, that's what I'll do. How I'm longing to ski through the snow.
Those glistening houses that seem to be built of snow.
Snow. Oh, to see a mountain covered with a quilt of snow. What is Christmas with no snow?
No white Christmas with no snow.
Snow. I'll soon be there with snow. I'll wash my hair with snow.
And with a spade of snow, I'll build a man that's made of snow. I'd love to stay up with you, but I recommend a little shut-eye. Go to sleep.